10:30. Still a pretty good time to be out here. A lot of things that would trip my security system off aren't out here yet. Still sleeping. So around noon time it gets a little crazy, and then I go in and guy's directing his own traffic. Yeah, plus at noontime the sun is so hot, or whatever's passing for the sun these days, whatever this thing is, that's not that white searing chemical burn ball of whatever it is. It is not the sun of my youth and ages past, when it was nice and warm and yellow and it was way up in the sky. Now this thing is it's like a fucking Godzilla coming over the tops of the buildings with a searing chemical burning heat. It's awful. But you know, I don't know what that is. That's another topic for another day though. I've seen a lot of new Christian YouTube channels. There's a lot of them now, and that's good, right? I mean, because you know you want to spread the good news. But the thing is, like, a lot of these new people, I feel like, to me, like they're doing the opposite. Almost to the point where some of them I think are plants. Well, I mean, I think everybody's a plant, but you know what I mean. Out here, we get that IRL too. Like there'll be these, I talked about them before, these Jesus preachers that are out here on the sidewalks, and they look like completely unhinged people. Yet they have these really well-made signs with great printing, you know, and you look at them and they're like, what was that guy's name from The Matrix? They're like that, you know. I'll put them up on the screen. And their signs are like professional, like really well done. And it's like a, you know, Soros checking account has deposited X amount of dollars into your account. Thank you. But yeah, these people, I'm not going to say, I don't want to point out individual people with these new Christians, but whenever I watch one of the first things they want to tell you is that you're going to hell. One of the first things, you know, it's like, well, a lot of Christians think they're going to heaven. You're not, and here's why. They're always so excited to tell you you're going to burn in hell. Right away, that makes me think you're a shill, you're a grifter, you're just trying to get clicks or views. And you know, even the ones that aren't yelling about how you're going to hell, the main point of their exercise is to grow their channel. Like, even the ones that aren't yelling about going to hell, one of the first things they'll do is tell you to please like and do this other, you know, the stuff I will never do, because I'd rather cut my tongue out. But you know, they'll tell you all about that, you know, and where their Patreon is, because they need money for reasons. So it's like, well, is it about God, or is it about your, you know, becoming a micro celebrity? You know what I mean? Like, what is the point of this, you know? But yeah, getting back to the hell thing, it's like, I was watching this one guy, this one kid, and I've seen him before, and he goes out and street preaches, but he's kind of an asshole about it. Like, I saw this one video where he's holding up people trying to leave the plane. They're in a plane, and there's enough trouble with planes these days. I mean, see what's going on up there. That is still something I have yet to even begin to figure out about what's happening there. I have some theories, and I think it has to do with the way planes travel. They don't go up in the air and like just off a runway and fly like, you know, you imagine they do, or we've always thought they did. I'm sorry, I'm running my Garmin, and I'm running everybody else's Garmin. Like, I'm not just navigating for myself, I'm figuring out where everybody else is going so they don't walk into me. Yeah, so he's on like, people are trying to get off the plane, he's like holding them up to yell at them about Jesus. It's like, dude, that's the kind of stuff that turns people away from learning about their divinity. are learning about God. And I can't help but think, well, maybe that's the point of some of these guys. They have endless resources, you know, and you think, well, you know, why would they put these people on YouTube to turn you away from God? Because they have endless resources. And they put their minions in places that you wouldn't even like imagine. Like it would seem, you know, stupid or like pointless, but they try to cover every single base. So I'm pretty sure that most of this new wave are all controlled, you know. But yeah, I don't want to name people because I don't want to be an asshole. But there's this one girl who she seems cool, she seems nice, but she talks like she's in a cult. She makes Christianity look like a fucking cult the way she talks about stuff. And I don't know, I mean, in my opinion. But she's posting these memes on, or just these photos or whatever, on her Instagram account, saying like before Jesus and after Jesus, right? And like, I mean, I don't know, is it all that, like her before Jesus photos? They look fine to me. And you know what? And I went through this too, a couple years ago. I was just doing it more for conversation's sake because in my heart I knew God doesn't give a fuck about that shit. But just for a video, you know, just to have discussion, I talked about how your personal aesthetic may or may not align with God, because I wear makeup and I look weird and stuff. So I was like, do you think he cares about this stuff? The answer is no. If you have any kind of relationship with the Lord, you know he doesn't give a fuck about that stuff. You know, it doesn't mean anything to him. He knows, because he knows you. He knows your heart. He can see, and he accepts all this other weird stuff about you, whether you swear too much or whether you wear, you know, too much makeup or whatever stuff these people are telling you you're going to go to hell for. It grinds my gears when some mortal wants to tell me that why I'm going to hell if I don't do exactly what they say. Please like and subscribe. It's like, fuck you. It makes me think they don't have a relationship with God. Because if they did, they'd know that none of that matters. So maybe they do, and they're just pretending they don't for the sake of their channel. You gotta, intent is very important, you know? In everything. You know, you have to look at stuff and be like, well, what's the intention of this person? And I don't think for a lot of these new people, I think the intent is to do what they're saying they're doing. I think there's a need in the marketplace for spirituality or spiritual guidance, and there are an endless amount of people that want to be micro celebs that will fill that spot or the spot they perceive is there. You know, like I was saying, when the first things that come out of their mouth is to talk about their channel, it's like, well, fuck you doing this for? And why do you need money, by the way? I mean, I understand if someone is trying to make a job out of this or something, and I just think when you're covering spirituality, okay, and you're asking people for money, it just feels weird to me. You know, it doesn't, like, what would that, you know, what would your Patreon money do for you? You know, do what? Like, buy better equipment or whatever? You don't need better. I mean, look at, I'm not saying my stuff is good or anything, but I just walk around with my fucking phone in my hand. You don't need Patreon supporters to spread the good word. I mean, unless you want to, you know, I saw one of them had, we're using their Patreon to build a new studio to talk about the Lord, which is like, well, all right, that's, it's just, to me, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I just feel like there's a lot of disingenuity going on with a lot of these new Christian people. And it's important that, you know, a lot of them speak with this authority, and it's like sometimes I'll make declarative statements or whatever, but I always try to couch it with, in my opinion, or I'll always say, or I'll just couch, you know. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people that right now who are looking at the madness of the world and are looking for some kind of reprieve or for some kind of guidance or understanding could easily get locked up with one of these people. And the next thing you know, they're sending money to their Patreon because they think they're doing something for them, or they're keeping them from going to hell. When you lead with "you're going to go to hell," right? All of a sudden, people are like, "Oh shit! Why? What is the secret? What do I have to do to not go to hell? I better subscribe to this guy." Get the fuck out of here! You bullshit. And it's just like, it's not like a fad. It's just that it's popular now because the world is so nuts. You know, everyone's looking for some kind of spiritual understanding. But you're not going to get it from anyone. It happens in you. You know, it's going to happen in you. And it's either going to happen, or you're a fucking robot and it's not going to happen. You know, God love you. But, yeah, you don't, growing your fucking YouTube channel or receiving funds or gibs, it's fucking, I don't know. I don't think that's going to shift any kind of perspective on the spiritual world and how you relate to it. That's just my opinion, though. It feels unseemly, I think is the word. It's unseemly. You know, what did Jesus do in the temple? What about the Pharisees? You know, it's like fiat money. Is that, you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't go together to me. It just doesn't go together. It kind of goes against what it's supposed to be about, in my opinion, anyway. You know, you make do with what you have. You use whatever gifts you have to spread the word, carry the good news. And you don't need $10 a month from someone to do that. Or you don't need someone to share and like and ring bells and fuck you, you know. But I mean, it's not just in the sort of Christian circles. It's a lot of YouTube is just shills. A lot of these guys that people watch, especially in the entertainment sphere, like as far as they do movie reviews or some kind of thing, or comics or whatever it is, they're repped by agencies, by Hollywood agencies. You know, it's not hard to find this information if you're interested. You know, these guys that, I'm not even going to throw names up there, you know, the popular normie YouTubers, they're all repped by big agencies, because YouTube in many ways has supplanted the entertainment driver of this country, at least, and I'm sure other countries as well. I mean, it's the TV's done, you know, and there's 500 different streaming platforms. So it's funny, the whole cable thing, right? You got cable and, you know, cutting the cord. It's freedom, and then you can just buy what you want. But every show that's significant, or every program or anything anyone would watch, is now in its own streaming service, which is almost at least half the price of what your monthly cable bill used to be. Well, maybe not that expensive, but it can range anywhere from $10 to $20 a month, like per show. So now you're paying more. You know, I remember at the time people were like, yeah, we're finally breaking that hold that media had. And it's like, no, they already have you. They're 10 steps ahead of you. Oh my God. My long COVID, which doesn't exist. So I just, it's not really long COVID. Anyway, I don't know why it got me aggravated when I saw the 8th new Christian person who leads with, like all my socials and you're going to hell. It's like, whatever, dude. Whatever. Every day I say I'm going to do something positive, and I fall into this trap. I don't know. I guess I'm always going to have that sort of like angry streak for some reason. Whatever. It's all going to be fine. We're all going to be fine. You know, I just like yelling at clouds. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.